Well, welcome back to the OVC Media Day. We're at the Doubletree Hotel in Evansville, Indiana. Now up, it's the Lindenwood crew, Inisder over there, and head coach Kyle Gerdeman there. I'm here at Schroeder. That's the YouTube channel you should be looking for. They were just giving coaching on marketing myself. First of all, Kyle, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
Events like this, does it help kind of like, okay, really launch the season?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've been obviously practicing for a few weeks now, but I think when you get here and you kind of see all the coaches and the student athletes around, it kind of reminds you the season's right around the corner. Games are right around the corner anyway.
And tell me about your team in terms of so far, just development during practice. I don't need to know Fred's doing well and Jimmy's doing bad. Just how is it?
I think the development has been good. I think if we've done anything, we've done some developmental stuff. We've been down on some numbers with some minor injuries, nothing major, a couple illnesses, things like that have kind of, made some practices different. But I think we've taken some time to really teach some things, maybe longer than we would have in the past, which is probably a good thing. So I like the direction that we're at, though. We're back, we're getting healthy, and we're almost back to full strength. So it's been kind of strange because it almost seems like there's been an excitement week to week when you get a guy back. It's like, okay, well, now this guy's back, and so that gets you kind of excited for now. We'll see what this combination looks like. And so we've missed a little bit of that early, but I think we're there now and really making some good progress.
Aeneas, you changed numbers. That's the first question. Why did you go to number 8?
Well, this year I decided I'm gonna make it by myself. I wore 12 in the past with my uncle, with my family, and things like that. So this year I said I'm gonna make it by myself. 8 is my favorite number.
8's your favorite number.
My favorite number.
I always like to ask players why they chose a number. I also want to ask you. You talked about guys coming back from illness or sickness or injury or whatever, but you got a number of your teammates back. That's different in this day and age. What is it about this group of guys that wanted to come back and play together?
I feel like we had something special, and we made the turn. We did something new at Lindenwood, and we feel like we can go further with that. So I feel like these guys, us coming back together was only something that we feel like we can do. We can do more this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And Kyle, you guys, they made the adjustment. You guys are now technically qualified to go to the NCAA tournament. How different is that, even for the players and for the coaches and for recruiting? What difference does that make?
Yeah, I think there's a difference in everything. Obviously with the recruiting piece, there's nothing that anybody can hold against you anymore. So we're all on kind of the same field from that standpoint. But I think for our players, it's just got to feel good because we're from day one we were trying to win the league.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't just start this year since we can make the tournament. But I think when your players know, hey, if we win the league and we win the tournament, either one, we're playing in the postseason. That's real life now. And so I think it's something that as coaches you probably you're just trying to win games and win as many as you can. But I think for players, it's a big part of, it's a big part of what they want out of life. It's what they want out of their college experience. So I think for them, it's exciting. And it's exciting, obviously, for our program and our university. But I think it just it was that last hurdle, so to speak. So, you're past that, you're done with that. And if there was any thought that, you weren't playing for anything, well, now you are. So
it's a lot more fun. Aeneas, you said playing for yourself. I'm not like selfishly, but playing for yourself. I know what you meant when you said that. But when I watch you play, you are such an energy guy. Like right here, you're very chill. You're kind of got it all together. But on the floor, you're like a guy that excites everybody around you. You're such an energy guy. Talk about your game.
Talk about my game. I just like to win, and sometimes you have to be the energy guy. You have to do the things that maybe nobody else want to do to try to get people involved. Or I just like to win. So whatever I'm doing on the floor is for the better outcome of the team.
And you had a slump last year shooting the 3, but there were times when you were also unstoppable from the 3.
Yeah.
Like I saw some of those games where like you just, okay, I'm about 3 feet past half court and I'm going to knock one down. I mean, talk about that part of your game because that is such a game-changing part of your game.
Yeah. That shooting slump was crazy, but I work on it. You know what I mean? The coaches work on it with me. So that's why during the season, even when I was having a shooting slump, they instilled confidence in me. They never told me to stop shooting. So we know it's a game-changing factor in my game, so they still encourage it. They tell me to work on it. I need to work on it. I mean, so I don't have shooting something like that, but just that being such a big factor in my game, I think I don't know. I just need to work on it. Just keep working on it.
I'm excited though to see that game because I saw those games when unstoppable as well.
Yeah.
Kyle, you talked about being able to qualify for the tournament and those kinds of things. Guys coming back. Can you describe the momentum in your program right now?
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. I think what we've been able to build, the first 3 years. I think not just the season that we had last year, but I think it's showed a progress, from day one. So I think seeing that now and then getting these guys to come back, like you mentioned, with the mentality that they have, like Anis said, they're kind of back with a purpose to try to do something special, to try to do more than what we did last year. Can they be the team that continues to take us a step in the right direction? I think so. So I think that's an excitement, within our program that I also think, probably spreads across our campus. I think you can see it in the St. Charles area, the St. Louis area. It's a different feel, I think, than the first couple of years. You're just trying to figure out if you can keep the games close. Sometimes, you just don't have a comfort level. And I think last year, probably as a coaching staff, and I think even for our players, I think they had a confidence about themselves that they knew they could compete every night. And I think we feel the same way with this team right now. So I think you see that changed a lot from year one to today. But again, I think it's part of the process that we've been trying to build as a program. And I think these guys that returned kind of started, they kind of stabilized it last year, and now they have a chance to really take a big step forward with it. So it's exciting for them.
You talked about wanting to win. You were such a resilient team last year. You guys would be down and scrap your way back into it. I mean, I was so impressed by the no quit that was in your team. And we talked about your 3-point shooting. You can be an outside scorer, but a dunker, rebounder. I mean, like, you want to play all aspects of the game, don't you?
Yes, I do. Like I said, I just love to win. And even when I was at my shooting slump, they say you can impact the game more than one way, more than just scoring. You can rebound, you can defend, you can be that energy guy. Mm-hmm. And they embrace that, so I had to do it for them.
He can rebound in a crowd.
Well, it's funny because we would go through all year and we're looking at the stats and we talk about rebounding nonstop, and we were a better rebounding team last year. Not as good as we needed to be, but we're getting there. But at the end of the year, I had no idea he was our leading rebounder until somebody told me that. I mean, we're watching the stats, and
come on, coach, give me a little credit here.
But I knew I think he had 4 double-doubles, and so maybe it should have registered right away. But I was like, I know he had some double-doubles, but man, I didn't realize he was our leading rebounder. So pretty impressive stat, I think.
Like I said, in a crowd, like there would be a crowd, and you'd come out with the ball. I mean, to me, those are tenacity kind of game-changing plays as well. Tell me a player on your team that we don't know is going to be really good, but he's going to be really good.
It's a few. What would you say?
Well, he asked you.
Can I give you 2?
Yes, you may.
3.
As many as you want.
I'll give you 3.
Okay.
I say Milos. I say Makai. And I say Don Schroeder.
Tell me why. Tell me about those 3 guys.
Milos, I feel like I've never played with somebody like Milos before. As far as I don't want to give y'all too much, but he can shoot. I say that.
Listen, I'm already bad at marketing. Nobody's watching yet.
Yeah.
No,
that's fine. Somebody's gonna watch.
That's right.
And then Makai, the true point guard, I feel like. And I don't think I ever played with that as well. And then Don Schroeder, I love his motor.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say.
I
appreciate that. I was talking to Coach Boudreau, and you guys go way back.
Yeah.
Talk about your relationship with him.
I think really kind of had somewhat of a similar path, and you feel like you know a lot of guys in the profession, but I think I was coaching at Moberly Community College. He was coaching at Indian Hills, 2 junior college powerhouse programs, and I think just to stay in touch with people over the years. I don't really want to count up the years right now because it's a lot, but being able to have regular conversations with coaches along the way, not just about your teams, but about what's going on in your life and at home and everything else. So just to run into people that become your good friends over the course of years is enjoyable to me. I think it's hard because our profession is so competitive. But when you find people like that, you appreciate it. And like I think he wants us to do as well as I want his program to do. And playing against him isn't any fun. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose that one. But I think the rest of the time we're cheering for each other and wishing each other the best. But like I said, I think just when you can come across people that become kind of lifelong friends through your profession, I think sometimes those things are really enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a gift.
Yeah.
Talk about the personality of your team. Like what's the feel around your team?
Goofy. I say goofy. We just love to have fun. So I feel like that's what's carrying us right now is we love basketball. And so we're just out there having fun, laughing. We serious, but it's just goofy.
I like it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about playing at the Highlands Center and when the fans are really going. I mean, it can be a great place,
I
can't it?
genuinely think we got the best fans in the OVC. I love them. When they show up, they show out every time.
Final thing, I'll let you get on to whatever's next for this high-level media day here, the OVC thing. Talk to me about just the ever-changing landscape of how to go about the art form of recruiting in this NIL period of time and, movement even of programs, not just players. Last week the OVC has announced the team's leaving. Just talk about the struggle or the art form that's related to that.
Yeah, I think first we've got to do a really good job of just worrying about right now. Obviously, lots of talk about the league and NIL and transfers, but we've got a season to play, and I think that's what's the most important thing is not forgetting that. Now I think to a bigger point to your question, I think you have to have a little bit of a mindset towards what does your recruiting look like? Obviously, we're recruiting nonstop. How does NIL play into that? How do we raise money for that? How do you continue to make that better? Year after year. You have to be thinking about those things. Because I think that and I think we've talked about it numerous times. We approach it from the assumption that you're always going to replace a lot of guys. Because I think that if you're doing that, if you're developing your players the way that you want to. They're going to have opportunities. We've been very fortunate, again, to have guys stay. The guys that stayed this year, Keenan Cole 2 years ago stayed with us. So we've had plenty of luck, building those relationships and keeping guys. But at the same time, you better have somewhat of a plan for losing your whole roster, maybe, because that's a reality anymore also. So I think just, kind of planning for some certain things along the way, but at the same time, just staying with staying with today and worrying about this team and how good we can make them and how successful they can be. And then you kind of hit the ground running at the end of it and the chips kind of fall where they do. And if you're paying players, you're paying players. And if you're in another league, you're in another league and you adjust to it. And that's kind of been what we've been doing since day one at Lindenwood.
Yeah.
So we've been on the fly for a long time, but I think we're getting pretty stable and doing a good job with it though.
Aeneas, you talked about the team being goofy. What's it like to play for him?
Serious.
So the team is goofy. He's serious.
Team serious. The team goofy. He's serious. Yeah, but he teaches you a lot and he holds you accountable, and that's one of the biggest things for me. I love playing for a coach that's gonna hold me accountable and also encourage me and tell me what I can do and tell me what's not the best, but always hold me accountable.
Those are wise words. What are you studying at school? What happens after basketball is over? Maybe you go play pro someplace, but after basketball is over, what are you studying and what happens after that?
I'm a business major, and after basketball, I have a pressure washer business that I would like to continue.
Excellent.
And I'm very passionate about that.
Excellent. Love all that.
Like
Coach,
that.
appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Best of luck to the Lindenwood Lions. They're going to be really good this year. You can pay attention to them all year long. We're going to continue with more from the OVC Media Day here in Evansville, Indiana. In just a minute, we'll be talking it over with the folks from Tennessee Tech.